longest time, I was guilty of never showing up as myself in a conversation, in a friendship, in a social interaction with people. There was only so much of myself I was willing to accept about myself, and therefore I was always adapting who I thought I needed to be in that moment to get you to like me, who I thought I needed to be in that moment to be worthy of your love, to be worthy of your attention, to have you want to spend time with me. And I was showing up in the world as this very confident and secure person who had a really strong personality, but I didn't realize just how scared I was of not liking myself or not being worthy of someone else's love or not being worthy of love in general until I realized that this was a thing that I was doing. Not a lot of the work on the rewiring of loving myself and learning to listen to my thoughts and understanding what is true and what's not true and learning to just not judge myself and the unraveling of those things. But I caught myself in a conversation a couple of months ago. I was at a baby shower for a friend who I had been in their wedding. I've been a bridesmaid many times. And this is one of those friends you have where you're only really connected to each other, but you've had enough big events that you know other people at the party. So I was able to kind of make casual conversation. But a lot of these people I haven't seen in years. And I realized that, especially and specifically in this room, there were people who were genuinely curious, who wanted to engage in conversation with me, who were happy to kind of chat and were just pleasantly curious to be engaging in a conversation with somebody else about their life. And I didn't have to perform and I didn't have to be this person. And that almost felt uncomfortable for me for a moment until I just realized myself kind of going into that habit of wanting to shift and change into chameleon in that moment into this different version of myself. But I could tell that the person I was talking to was actually engaged and it was authentic, and I didn't have to be that person. Hearing all of this to say, I don't think that if you would have told me that from the outside looking in a few years ago, that I would have realized that was why I was doing it, or that I would have even noticed myself doing it, or that I would have felt comfortable enough to recognize, do I like this person, or am I just worried that they don't like me, or am I worried that I'm not likable because I don't like myself, or nobody else will truly like me. I've talked about this before on this platform, but there's a depth and understanding in which you can't connect to somebody else until you're willing to give it to yourself, until you're willing to kind of carve out that space. And when you find yourself in those situations where you feel as though you need to morph who you are in order to be allowed in that space, it's time to look a little bit deeper.